guys, welcome to Sketchup Skills. In today's video, we're going to be starting the first of 3 consecutive videos on how to do tufted furniture in Sketchup. We're going to be starting this particular lesson learning the basics of how to build out the geometry of a tuft and the different types of tufts that we can create. Our second video is going to elaborate on that, and we're going to be learning how to build out the edges and the corners to create the top of a tufted ottoman. And then in our third video, we're going to go ahead and bring it full circle and show you how to use an extension called Flowify to bend our tufted shapes into a piece of furniture that represents the back of a tufted chair. I hope that you enjoy these videos, and if you have any questions on the process, of course, feel free to drop me a line in the comments below. And let's just go ahead and start looking at some of the different types of furniture that we can possibly come across while we're modeling some of our pieces for our interior design projects. As you're scrolling through the internet, you're going to notice that there are lots of different types of pleats on different furniture pieces. Some of them are diagonal or triangular. Some of them are rectangular or square. Some have the pleats where it looks like the fabric is being pulled down towards the pleat, and others where it looks like the pleat is protruding out of the fabric. We're going to be taking a look at a few of these options and showing you the best and cleanest way to model this geometry so that you get a realistic looking tuft for your final piece. So we're going to be starting this model by creating a single tuft. We're going to start off with a square and offset a couple of rings inside of it. We're going to use an extension called Split Tools to create some additional geometry in here to turn this into quads. And then Vertex Tools is the vertex manipulation tool that we're going to be using to give our geometry the shape that we need. We're going to go ahead and pull these points down so that we've got the inset shape of where the tufted button will go. And then we're going to just build this piece out. Using Quadface Tools, we're going to add some additional lines here on the corners. And then we're going to split the whole thing into quadrants. And then we're going to split the whole thing into quadrants so that we are only modeling one corner at a time. Again, using Quadface Tools, we're going to select these loops and insert an extra line there. And then just delete out the other 3 corners of our existing model. So if you're wondering about these different colored toolbars that I have here, it is an extension from Fredo 6 called Lord of the Toolbar. You can get it from the Sketchup warehouse, and I really like it. It's something that I've been using because when I'm doing quad modeling or soft surface modeling, I tend to use a lot of different tools, but I also don't use every tool in every single toolbar. I don't like having all of this open on my screen, so what I found is that I can create my own custom toolbars that have just the tools in them that I need. This one I called Quad Modeling, and this one has got some drawing tools on it. I've got a couple different ones up here, and the way that this one works is any extension that you have installed in your Sketchup application, you can drag out the individual tools from those toolbars into a toolbar that you created yourself. So it just is a way for me to keep my desktop organized and neat, and that way I don't have to have all of these things open all the time, and I don't have to fill my toolbar up at the top here with a lot of otherwise this would be totally full up here because I've got so many different things depending on the type of modeling that I'm doing for whatever individual project that I'm working on. So if you are interested in taking a look at that, check out the Sketchup warehouse and download the Fredo 6 Lord of the Toolbar. As of now, it is a free extension and I find it to be very helpful. So now that we've got one corner of our tuft geometry worked out, I'm going to remove this line in the center of the corner there, just so that we don't need any extra geometry there. And then select the whole thing and rotate it in copy mode. Make sure you constrain it to the blue axis there. And then I'm just going to go ahead and fill in the rest of this square, so that I've got a nice piece of geometry where this line goes up around from one button to the next. That's the seam where a wrinkle is going to be. We're just going to go ahead and select that using Quadface Tools. And then Joint Push Pull, which is another Fredo extension. We're just going to pull that up a little bit so that we've got a little bit of a wrinkle there. You want to make sure that there's no faces on the back that create extra geometry. And then using the Vertex Tools and the Vertex Slide tool, we're just going to pull this piece up so that this transition on the corner or down in this button here is a little bit smoother. We're going to group the whole thing and then turn on our Sub D application and see what it looks like all smoothed. We do need to break up that geometry right there, and that looks pretty nice, I think. We're just gonna, adjust it a little bit, give it a little bit more depth, make a little bit more of a soft bump here on the corners. And then we're going to take this piece and we're going to make a copy of it. And then mirror this piece in copy mode. And then mirror it again. And then you can sort of see how this starts to get built. And there's our full button with 4 seams coming out. Explode the whole thing and then group it as one thing. And then when we turn on Sub D, you can see we've got a nice button tuft created. To get a better view of what this is going to look like, I'm going to go ahead and just make some more duplicate copies of this piece. Moving in copy mode just to create an array of sorts here. Group the whole thing and then go into the group and explode all those individual groups so it's all one piece of geometry. You want to make sure that things are always lining up. You don't have any lines or geometry that's overlapping or with gaps in it. And then when we go ahead and turn on Sub D, we can see this beautiful tufted surface that we've got. It's pretty nice looking. We're going to be using this to create a piece a little bit later on. So here I just wanted to show you that depending on the type of a tuft or a piece of furniture that you're modeling, you can create the same sort of a look, but maybe with an inside wrinkle as opposed to an outside wrinkle. It's a very minor difference. Sometimes you can notice it depending on what your end result needs to be. If you are creating some, detailed renderings of furniture pieces, then this might be an important difference for you. But I just wanted to show you the only difference really is that instead of using the joint push-pull to pull our wrinkle up, we've pushed it down and then just add a little bit of detail here as well so that you just get a little bit of a different look on your tuft and your wrinkles here. Now we're going to create one more example of a tuft, and we're going to start with the basic piece that we originally created in the very first example. And what I'm just going to do is break it up a little bit, and then we're going to rotate it so that we end up creating a tuft that is on the straight as opposed to a diagonal shape. So what I'm doing here is I'm just using Vertex Tools and Quadface Tools to split this tuft piece down the middle of the crease there on our wrinkle. Then I'm going to again use Quadface Tools, the pencil tool there, and just split these pieces up as well. And basically I'm turning this into 4 individual corners. If we go into downward view and then parallel projection, we can look at everything nice and straight. We're going to select the whole thing and then rotate it so that our angles are on axis with the world of SketchUp. It will make it easier for us to delete the elements that we don't need. So go ahead and select all of this 1/2 over here and make sure it's nice and clean. Cut this up, clean this up a little bit, make sure our pieces are, this is not actually a quad, this has got 5 sides, so we need to split that up, and triangles are better than 5 sides. If you can't do triangles, then, or if you can't do quads, then you do triangles. They usually still work okay. So clean that side up over here. Then we're going to delete the other half as well, so that we've got 1/4 of our cube that we've created. Or not a cube, but the 1/2 of our tuft that we've created. Select the whole thing, mirror it again. So basically what we're trying to do is make sure the left and the right side of this piece are the same. We want where these lines are on the tuft to all match up. Since we modeled those separately, we want to make sure that these pieces here and these pieces here line up with each other. So the best way to do that is to make sure that they are the same by mirroring them. So we're going to select the whole piece, rotate in copy mode. Again, make sure to constrain it to the up axis, the blue axis. And then we've got our new tuft piece that is now running left to right as opposed to on diagonal. Make a couple of copies of it, build out my array. You can group the whole thing and then explode the internal groups so that it's all one piece of geometry. I'm just going to go through and using Vertex Tools pull these center pieces up just so that they're a little rounder looking and not quite so flat. This is just minor detail, and I could have done this before I copied everything, and in fact you should do this before you copy everything, but in case you forgot, you can always do it this way as well. And you'll also notice that I've got the soft selection mode on so that I've got a little bit of adjustment that's happening not just to the vertices that I selected, but the ones that are nearby as well. So that's it. That's pretty good. That just shows you a slightly different version of the same process for creating our tuft. So I just wanted to look at these 3 different versions of our tuft just right next to each other so we can see the real difference between them. Our first one obviously was the original and creates a wrinkle that is exposed coming up out of the geometry. The second one is the same, but instead of having that wrinkle coming out, it's being pulled down to the center. And then our third is the wrinkle out, but we're looking at this as opposed to the diamond shape. We're looking at it straight on as a square. So they all three are very similar, but they have just slightly different looks to them, and depending on how your actual furniture piece is, you may need these in different variations as well. I hope that you enjoyed this video. In the next one, we're going to talk about how to accomplish creating the edge of the piece where we actually see the tufting fabric, I suppose, wrap around the edge of something. For example, when you're looking at this and you see it on an ottoman or the back of a chair, it's not going to stop like this. We need a better way to finish off the edges of it. So we're going to go over that in the next video. I hope that you enjoyed this, and like I said, keep an eye out for that next one coming up soon.